Dear students, welcome back to SEI Lab 3, the repeater series. In this lab, we are going to see the working demo of a prototype that have been designed using a repeater. This is the third video in the series, and in the first two videos, we have discussed the repeater basics, types, examples, and the different parts of a repeater in Azure RP10. If you have missed out the first two videos, you are highly advised to watch them to make the sense out of this third video. Let us see how a repeater looks like when it is run in the browser. So here I have designed an application interface which is holding the repeater to list three names, a paragraph description about the product or the name, an image displaying the name of the item, and a play button which links to the external URL which describes more details about this particular list item. As we have seen in the second video, the repeater consists of two important parts. One is the repeater items, which is nothing but the list items. Like the one that you are seeing here, this particular repeater is having three items inside it, and each item is having different types of widgets inside it. For example, it is having an image widget. It is having this particular item is having an H1, a paragraph description, a button which is linked with an external URL, and an image. The data set which is providing or from where this content is coming is here. By default, the repeater that we create by dragging and dropping out from the dynamic or the default libraries provides you with three rows, which in turn becomes three items in the repeater. Now when you double click on one of the item, the repeater data set is being displayed. In the repeater data set, we see all the data that has been being populated, that was being populated in the list items. Here we see four columns which are nothing but the details or the content that have been populated on the four different widgets. For example, the image that was displayed in the first item is given in the first row. The image given in the second item is coming from the second row of the data set, and the third image is coming from the third row of the data set. Basically, this data set is controlling what the content we see in the item list. Now when you just close this data set, when you close the data set, you will see the repeaters item list. You double click on it and you will see the data set. Okay, now here when you double click on it, the item structure is shown to you, which in turn or which whose pattern keeps on repeating in the list. For example, this is the structure of an item in the item list. We see an image, we have a heading column, and we have a paragraph and a play button. If you notice, the play button is having an interaction attached to it. This interaction tells that whenever the button is clicked, go to the item dot button. So item dot button is the name of the column inside the repeater data list. The repeater's data set, sorry. The repeater data set can be referred by using the array item. When I say item dot paragraph, it means this column. When I say item dot heading, it means the heading. When I want to control the image, then I need to say item dot image. So it means item refers to the data set, whereas the dot button or dot paragraph, dot heading, or dot image is nothing but the name of the widget inside this item. So here, whenever the play button is clicked, we want to go to populate the external URL that is linked with this button. And then you see here on loaded, whenever the page is loaded, we want to set the text to some text that have been kept in the variable one. For example, I created a project here we go to the project and global variable, and I have created a global variable called as var1, wherein I have kept the name as play. So whenever the page is loaded, I want to display the name of the button as play. But if you see here, let us go to the item view. You see here the button is displaying or holding the URL, or the URL which have been attached to the button is getting displayed directly over here. So what did I do? I don't want to show the URL, you know, directly to the as a button caption. So what did I do? I kept this, I linked the URL with the button interaction. However, the name of the button I kept it in a variable inside the project global variable. Okay, I can create one new for you. For example, go to the add button and have variable 2, and I can say play. Okay, let me delete this one, so we don't want to use var1, and I can say, you know, for example, now let us go and see the effect. Now preview. Okay, let me click on the button. Okay, and you see here this is unspecified, so here what will I do? I will select the variable name as var2. Now click on play button. This is the list of a repeater. This is a repeaters list where we see 3 items, each item comprising of different widgets. 4 widgets are displayed here, and that is the reason why we see there are 4 entries. Okay, let me open the file, correct file. There are 4, and there are 4 columns here because we have 4 widgets. If I add one more widget here, one more column will come, and I need to link that. Okay, let us now see how this is working. So let us go to the output window and see the demonstration. Now when I click on the play button, you see it, the data, the page is redirected to an external URL, and the URLs binded with 3 different buttons are 3 different URLs. You see the second one, this is for the second one, and this is the third play button attached with the third external URL. You may use any widget. You, for example, you can have a label, you can have a text, or you may have any other widget linked to an external variable, or a different page inside the RP file, or a different a widget linked with one more widget. Okay, so that can be done also. Now let us see how to create one such example once again. Now let us redo this example. I have already downloaded 3 images, and let me quickly make the links as a backup so that we save time. I am going to put my URLs in Node so that I can directly copy without getting delayed. Okay, so these are my 3 URLs. Okay, great. So file, okay, file, new Azure file, and we are going to drag and drop the repeater card from the default dynamic library. And if you see here, this is the repeater card that I have dragged and dropped, and it is coming with 3 rows as the item list by default, and it is having 3 widgets. One is image, heading, and paragraph. We can add a button here, or you may add one more image if you want. Okay, so now when we want to give a structure to the item or the arrangement of widgets inside the repeater item, we see only one row, and we can make changes whatever we want, or the arrangements however we want to do, and the same arrangement will repeat as a pattern. Okay, now let us go, and our item is set, the arrangement is done. If you want to apply a style, you can select the item and you can fill it with some color or a background color if you want. Okay, and for example, if you want to give some formatting, like you want to give some padding in the left, padding in the top, padding in the right side of the item, and padding in the left side, bottom of the item. So I have given the padding. You may increase to see the effect. So here we are giving the padding of 20 pixels in the 4 borders. You see, this is the padding. You may select this and see what are the different arrangements can be done with the item. For example, I can have the item list displayed horizontally. I can wrap them up in a grid and decide how many items will be displayed per row. If I want, I can have only 2. You see here, 2 of them are getting displayed and the third one is coming to the next row. So this depends on the requirements what we want. Item background color can also be selected. Okay, for example, I take this is the item background color. Okay, and let us see some more styles. Fill. Okay, no fill. Okay, so pagination. If you have many rows, you can decide how many items you want to display in every page. For example, you can have 10 items displayed in one page, starting with the first one. So this is all about the styles for a repeater. Okay, and let us resize the paragraph. So we are good with this. Okay, let us preview. So we have 3 items with 3 buttons, and they are laid out horizontally. I want to see them vertically. You may arrange however you want, and let us rearrange the padding. Okay, so once you are done with the arrangement of the items, now let us populate or prepare our data set. The repeater data set can be made visible by clicking on this floating menu for the repeater. Now here You can bring the data from a CSV file by clicking on the import as well. But here we do not have a CSV file. Let us put the data directly. Let us change the images. So, okay, we go to the images file. Okay. Okay. I am trying to navigate to the correct name. Correct. Okay, this is the first image. Okay, let us bring the second image. Okay, and this is the third image. And I want to write the names. And we want to have some description about the items. So description of the name or the product, what we want to list. And I'm just going to copy paste this paragraph 3 times. You can come up with some meaningful paragraph and make a more meaningful explanation. Okay, and we also have a button. So I'm going to click on this plus item and then I'm going to name it as button. And then I'm going to put 3 links for 3 buttons. This is the first link. This is the first link. And this is the second link. This is the third link. Okay. Now I will show you what this connect widget is doing. Let me give you a preview at this point. Okay, so we see H1 being binded in the header place, image being displayed in the left side of the item and the button. But when you are clicking on the button, nothing is happening. Why? Because we did not put an interaction yet. Okay, and we did not connect this button with the item. So let us do that. Now here you click on connect widget and then you select the button. Now you see the data that have been coming from the column button is getting displayed on the button. It means that this button is holding this URL, external URL. If you do not do this, this button will be displayed, but it will not yet become the part of the item. In order to connect the button widget to the item of repeater, we need to click on the connect widget. This is very important. And then select the appropriate widget. So here you are going to do that for button. We did not do this for paragraph because by default, when you are dragging and dropping the repeater card, the image is already connected, heading is already connected, and the paragraph is already connected. But what all the new widgets that we keep on adding, that needs to be connected by using the connect widget, which comes with the repeater data set. With this, our repeater data set to display 3 items is completely populated to display the items in the repeater item list. Now when you click here. Okay, so what happens now? You see all the data being displayed according to the format what we wanted, or according to the padding, according to the background color. You may change it however you want. But if you see here, this button is not clickable yet because we did not put any interaction. We just kept the URL, but this URL is not connected with the button click. So when I'm clicking on the button, nothing is happening. So let us create an interaction for it. So what we will do is select the button. Okay, select the button. Now we do not use, now we do not need the data set anymore, but we need to have an interaction binded with the button widget. So I'm clicking on the button, double click on it. Okay, click on it and then go to the interactions pane. In the interactions pane, click on new interaction, and we want to invoke this interaction with the button is clicked. So I am going to select the click action. Now here, what do I want to do? I want to open a link to an external page. So I'm going to say link to, okay, I'm just repeating it again. Go to this, select, let me delete this and do it for all things once again. Click the button, go to the interactions, click on new interactions, click on the click event, and then click on open link. And here we want to link this button with an external URL. So click on external URL, and here the external URL is coming from which place? It is coming from button. Whose button? The item button, right? So I have to now link it as item dot button. So let me show you how it looks. For example, like this, link to external link, and I'm going to write down item dot button. Okay, so is it clear, students? Why are we doing that? Okay, I will show you again. So the play button is linked to an external URL. And what function is it? Fx stands for function. What function is it going to call? It is going to call item dot button. I will explain you what is item dot button. Let's go to our page. This is the one that we were working on. Yes. So here, no, this is not the one that we were working. Let me open. This is the one that we were working. Yes. So here the fx should have button dot item. Why are we writing button? Why are we writing this in an array? Because this item is coming from the repeaters item, and the button is the name of the column. If I want to link this with some another column name, then I would say item dot paragraph. If I want to, you know, refer it or refer the click of a button with a paragraph, or if I want to link any other column, I should say item dot the name of the column. In our case it is button, so I have to link it by using item dot button. Okay, so let's see now. We're done. Click on the preview. Now you see here it is becoming clickable, and when I am clicking on it, it should take me to the new URL. Let us see. Okay, it's not taking. Okay, let us check what went wrong. Button, yeah, here the name of the button is in capital and here it is not capital, so it has to be same, item dot button button. Okay, done. Because this is an internal name of the button, you see here when I'm clicking on the button. Yeah, okay, so let's preview.